Welcome back, 5th grade teachers, to our Passport to Social Studies video. This is a 5th grade teacher-facing video. My name is Mr. Giordano, and I'm the Virtual Content Specialist for 5th grade Social Studies. We are going to continue with our Unit 2 Day 7 lesson, focusing in on our third video, creating the digital tools. In our second video, we reviewed some teacher supports and scaffolds that involved some digital tools such as Padlet and Jamboard. In this video, we'll be reviewing how to make a Padlet and a Jamboard in connection with the teacher supports and scaffold explored in our previous video. So let's get started. In order to make a Jamboard, the first thing you would want to do is open up a new Google window and go into your boxes, your Google Apps. There you'll click and scroll down to the little icon that says Jamboard. Once you go into this, you'll be able to open up and create a new Jamboard. Once you open up and create a new Jamboard, it's a blank template like this. My first suggestion would be to give it a name. That way you have a name for your Jamboard. For mine, I'll write Practice. You can do many things within Jamboard. It's really an interactive whiteboard in a sense. You can set the background. You can use it in different ways. You can make it different colors. You can use it as loose leaf paper. Even you could upload an image from the internet. You can do a Google search. Maybe you want to find an old type of pamphlet paper or parchment paper, I guess would have been better to search parchment. And you could upload that into your Jamboard. You can move it around. And of course, you might have to experiment with the actual image you pick to make sure it fits the entire Jamboard. Then from there, you can do different types of things. You can clear the frame and get it back to, if you had started writing, you press clear frame and it would erase the writing. You can have a pen and you can write on it. You can write social studies. You can do all different things with your Jamboard. You can have a marker, maybe for highlighting. So if you're looking at a text, if you paste it onto the Jamboard, you can highlight and do some annotating. This is a marker, so you can do some drawing with that. You have an eraser. You can erase. Then you would return to your clicker, which is your regular cursor. Here is the option for sticky notes. To add a sticky note, the students can pick different color sticky notes when they decide to use this, or if you're using this as a demonstration in class. You can add images to your Jamboard, not necessarily as the background, but just images to show on the Jamboard to make it more exciting and more engaging, pictures or document sources, political cartoons. You can add shapes, you can add a text box, and you can add a laser pointer as you're teaching. If you have text on here, you can use this laser pointer for the students to keep track of where you're at in the reading. What you can also do is create multiple frames. So you can create a fresh frame. You can see a layout of your frames and even go back, and you can delete ones that you might not like or duplicate ones that you do like if you want to use the same one over and over again. But what's really important here is the shared settings, that you want to make sure that when you're going to the shared settings that you open it up where anyone with the link can edit it, especially if you're using it with your entire class, so that they can add sticky notes or add writing to it. If you want to give each student their own Jamboard, you would attach your template to your Google Classroom assignment, and then you would press make a copy. So each student would get their own copy of the Jamboard. And if you're doing that, you would want to keep it back on your regular settings, and then make sure that when you press make a copy, each student would get their own copy of that Jamboard to edit. So you want to consider also how you're going to set it up. But either way, if you set up the template beforehand, if you go to have a Google Meet with your students, you can pull it right up within the Google Meet. It sends a link right to the students in the chat, and then you can collaborate on the Jamboard during the Google Meet. So that's a really nice thing to be able to do, to actually then pull it up, to have it during your Google Meet, and it becomes an interactive resource for your students to use to share ideas with you, especially using these sticky notes. They really enjoy being able to do that and share their ideas and brainstorm together. So that's one piece of this, using Jamboard. The other piece of this is using Padlet. Padlet, I had showed you this example before with our French Explorer project. So now to use Padlet, just simply Google Padlet or go to padlet.com. You'll log in. You can use your DOE account. You can use your school domain account. Everybody gets 3 free Jamboards to start with. If you wanted more, you would have to buy the program, but you would press Make a Padlet, and there's different options for you. I usually pick wall. That's the most common one, but shelf is nice too. What shelf does is it creates a topic within the Padlet where it would have a topic, and then students can only post under that topic if whatever's specific to it. So you know what? I'll open up this one to show you what that would actually look like. Here's where you would go into edit your Padlet. You can give it a title. We'll just give ours practice. You can write down your prompt here. Maybe you can share your thoughts. You can add an icon to the side of it. So maybe it'll be a happy face. It could be specific to whatever you're working on in class. You can also change the website link, the address. So you can make it something a little more easy for the students, like practice, right? Instead of that longer one. You can change the wallpaper as well, and you can look at the pictures. You can look at the texture. Some of them actually move, so the students like that. You can change the font, and you can allow different things, like you can add comments. So when a student posts something, another student can comment on it. You can add reactions, so the students can like each other's comments, or they can vote them up or down. They can give them stars or a grade. Some, if you would like, you can require approval, where you would have to approve a post before it's sent through and appears on the Padlet. So these are just some things to think about as you're moving through your Padlet. And then you can start posting. And when you're ready, you would press share, and you would just take the link and you would share it with your students. The only way they can comment on it is if they have the link, because it's secret. You can change the privacy settings though within the Padlet. So for this example, what I was showing you before with the shelf is that you can make different columns. So let's say maybe here it was brainstorm. That's the column, and I want all the students to only post under that column for brainstorming. Here could be reflection. Here could be your final product, or your edits or revisions, or whatever it is that they're working on. Maybe it's creating something. In our case, the lesson that we were just looking at, they were creating posters or infographics. Maybe this is the final piece. And so they can add underneath that specific column. That was the shelf option. The other one said wall, which is what I had made back here. And that's where they can just post, and it really just appears anywhere. You can actually move them around as the teacher. But the wall, it just scatters them. Students also, when they do post, they can edit their comments. They can make it different colors so it really stands out. They can edit the post, add an image. They can add a camera, a photo to it. They can add a link, taking a link to maybe a YouTube video or to their product that they made on Google Classroom, a link to a Google Doc. They can add or upload an image or a file of some sort. So there's other ways to use this, but just so you can see, these are the different features within Padlet that you can use with your class. So again, these are 2 tools that are really worth exploring and practicing in your remote practices, both Jamboard and Padlet. Okay, everyone, thank you for joining me today to just review these different tools, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.